right, it looks like we're live.
Go ahead. The January 30th, 2026 Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting is now in session. It is noted for the record that commissioners are attending this meeting via the web, and a quorum of commissioners is present for today's meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad?
Here.
Commissioner Dodd?
Here.
Commissioner Geller?
Here.
Commissioner Weller?
Here.
Chair Ramirez?
Here. Will the clerk please inform the commission of any guests that have joined today's meeting?
I don't believe we have any guests today.
All right. So before we dive into the agenda, I do want to acknowledge Commissioner Dodd. He is new to the commission. I think he brings a very unique perspective and experience to the commission that helps round us out. And so I just wanted to acknowledge his attendance and his willingness to make the commitment to be a commissioner of the lottery. So with that, I will turn it over to Director Wells for the director's report.
Chair Ramirez, I believe we have some public comment.
You are correct. So members of the public had the opportunity to provide written public comment to the commission for the meeting. A full copy of those comments that were received were provided to the commissioners in advance of the meeting and will be posted on the commission meeting website. Will the clerk please share the public comments that were received for the record?
Yes, Chair Ramirez, commissioners, Pete Goodman has submitted a number of communications over the last month, all of which have been provided to you outside of the meeting materials for your information. The following is a summary of those communications which met public comment guidelines as outlined on our website. In summary, Mr. Goodman outlines 5 central themes, including allegations, the Oregon Lottery and Director Mike Wells misrepresented actions related to third-party lottery couriers, claims of strained relationships with Oregon tribes, disputes over financial practices, including the use of gross receipts, concerns about the accuracy of reported prize payouts, and assertions of improper accounting and prize handling within Scratch-It ticket operations, and frustration with the lack of response from state and federal authorities. Throughout the content, Mr. Goodman asserts a broader conspiracy involving the Oregon Lottery, Mike Wells, DraftKings, IGT, Jackpocket.com, state attorneys, Governor Kotek, and selected media outlets alleging coordinated efforts to obscure misconduct, mislead the public, and avoid regulatory scrutiny. The full public comment will be posted on the meeting website following today's meeting.
Thank you. Now I'll turn it over to Director Wells for the director's report.
Thank you, Chair Ramirez. Good morning, commissioners. Hard to believe it's already the end of January. We're having this meeting again. But thank you for being here. I also would like to start by welcoming Commissioner Dodd to his first meeting. Although not a stranger to lottery or the lottery industry, as Chair Ramirez said, your experience is going to be very welcomed on this body, and we really thank you for your continued public service as a commissioner. So thank you for being here, and we look forward to you participating on the commission for many years to come. So thank you.
Thank you.
So moving on to my report, unfortunately, I am starting today with some sad news. Earlier this month, Oregon's largest Powerball winner, Charlie Safin, lost his battle with cancer. Charlie, along with his wife and a close friend, won a $1.3 billion jackpot in April of 2024. Charlie touched many people, openly sharing his personal and lottery story. Even while facing an uncertain future, he used his good fortune to support his family and give back to his community. Charlie offered an honest, genuine look at his life and his life as a jackpot winner and remained positive throughout, knowing what his ultimate outcome was going to be. Charlie was deeply proud of his heritage and the attention surrounding his win gave him a chance to shine a light on his background and his culture, which is something he embraced with grace and was very proud of. We at Lottery were all honored to have an opportunity to get to know Charlie, spend some time with him, and he will be very missed. A little closer to home, next Wednesday, we will be bringing all of our staff together for a virtual all-staff meeting. This is the midpoint of our fiscal year, and it's a good time for us as an organization to come together where we share accomplishments, check in on the progress of some of our strategic plans, highlight key focus areas across the organization, key accomplishments, and prepare for budget planning as it's time to do that for the next fiscal year. It's also a great opportunity where we allow our staff to connect more closely with our beneficiaries as we bring in a beneficiary to speak on what Lottery does for them and how Lottery affects their business. So super excited to have this event and share some time with all of our staff together. I'm sure you know, but as a reminder, legislative short session begins soon and beginning February 2nd. The short session lasts only about 35 days and moves very quickly. As always, we'll be watching for any bills that affect Lottery, and we'll keep you updated as much as possible during this short session. Our sales report this month, I'm going to pass over because we have our product team coming in to present to you, as this is a quarterly update. So I'm not going to steal their thunder, and we'll let them talk to you about where we've been. And now some winter stories. As always, I'll remind us a few more meetings, but with our anonymity rules, sometimes we'll have names and sometimes we won't. It depends on if the player has released us to use their names. So our first winter story, a player in Bend likes to buy tickets for draw games, including Win for Life. After scanning his ticket on the app, he called his wife over to see all the confetti on the screen. The big win was the top prize in Win for Life, which means he now receives $1,000 each week for the rest of his life. He said his family will live more comfortably and can pay off debts along with contributing to his daughter's college education. Hyla M. of Lebanon has been married to her husband, Steve, almost 38 years, and the two still have date nights every Wednesday. A couple weeks ago, they were playing Big City Fives Diamond at Game Time Sports Bar and Grill in Lebanon when the Diamonds lined up to reveal $17,500 jackpot. After much celebrating, the couple generously picked up the tab for around 20 people and tipped the servers and the bartender. They also saved some prize money to cover the couple's upcoming trip to Hawaii. And Jeffrey brought his whole family with him from Bend to claim a $50,000 Scratch-It prize. He received the Wings of Fortune ticket as a stocking stuffer and just happened to be the last ticket in the pile of Scratch-Its laid out on the table. After revealing the prize amount, Jeffrey had a couple more people scan it to make sure the app was showing the prize correctly. His holiday payout was indeed real. Jeffrey plans to save the money, but everyone in the family agreed he was paying for lunch that day. And Chair Ramirez, that concludes my report for this month.
Thank you, Director Wells. The minutes of the previous commission meeting have been circulated to the commission in advance of today's meeting. If there are no changes to the minutes, is there a motion to approve?
Chair Ramirez, I want to make a comment. Since I was not present at this meeting last month, I would like to abstain from the vote.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I move the minutes of the Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting held on December 19th, 2025 be approved as final as presented today.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad, Commissioner Geller,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Chair Ramirez.
Aye. For the record, the motion has passed. Now we'll move on to the financial report with Carl Strauss.
Good morning, Chair Ramirez, Commissioners, and Director Wells. For the record, my name is Carl Strauss, Controller for the Oregon Lottery, and today we're going to review the second quarter financial results of fiscal year 2026. As of end of December, Lottery had transferred $457 million to the state. We have an additional transfer of $247 million, which took place in January. This brings the total transfers for the year to $704 million and satisfies the bond coverage covenant for lottery revenue-backed bonds. We have one remaining quarterly transfer scheduled to take place in April. Expenses as a percentage of gross sales, shown in the bottom left of your screen, was approximately 3.5% year to date. This has been a slight improvement from the previous quarter. Spending on our investment fund allocation is $12.9 million through the end of December. These funds were spent on planned replacements of video lottery terminals, and our contingency reserve ended the quarter at $146 million, or $4 million below our cap of $150 million. Net revenue for the 6 months ending December 2025 was $737 million. This was $15.9 million above forecast and $32 million higher than the same period in the prior year. The revenue forecast was revised in December, calling for a net revenue increase from the September forecast of $14.2 million on an annual basis. Sales of traditional lottery products outperformed expectations largely thanks to our muscle or multi-state game jackpots attracting more play. The Mega Millions jackpot hit a peak of $980 million in November. This was followed by a $1.8 billion jackpot in our Powerball game, which was won in late December. Traditional lottery products as a whole generated $110 million of net revenue, which was $27 million higher than the same period last year. Video lottery contributed $578 million of net revenue this quarter, which was a decline of $6.9 million due to lower gross dollars played. The sportsbook revenue continues to show strong growth year over year, with net revenue of $49.8 million, which was an increase of $11.3 million over the same period last year. As we look at direct expenses, retail commissions, shown as the first line item on direct expense, was $4.6 million above budget. However, the additional expense here is due to sales outperforming their expectations. Game vendor charges had a favorable variance over $623 million due to lower vendor fees related to our sportsbook, which was partly offset by higher game vendor charges on our traditional lottery products. Both of those variances are tied to sales volumes. Further down, we have game equipment parts and maintenance. This has an unfavorable variance of just under $900,000 due to receiving a game set earlier in the year than we had planned. However, that variance will not persist and should be resolved by year end. Depreciation on gaming equipment is approximately $1 million over budget. This is due to under budgeting capital acquisitions at the end of the last fiscal year, and those items are now being depreciated in the current fiscal year. Indirect revenue was favorable by $1 million. This was the cumulative effect of higher interest earnings on our short-term cash managed by the Treasury and the recognition of fair market value adjustments on our investments. The rate of interest earned on our short-term cash held at the Treasury has come down several times during the course of the year, so I'd expected this overperformance for the first 6 months of the year to mostly, if not fully, reverse by the end of the fiscal year. As for indirect expenses, we are $5 million under budget. Much of the savings seen here is intentional. In October, the lottery took a very detailed and thoughtful approach to reviewing budgets and spending in an effort to identify potential cost savings. Notably, labor costs under salaries, wages, and benefits has a savings of $1.4 million due to the management of vacant positions. Service and supplies has a favorable variance of 3.2 million due to multiple factors, most notably savings on professional services of 2.4 million. This includes security, IT consultants, and audit fees, as well as 1.1 million savings on our retail network upgrade. However, we do not expect the savings on our retail network project to last throughout the end of the year, as we are going to continue to migrate retailers over to the newer network lines, which are more expensive. Net profit for the 6 months ending December was just under 451 million. This was an improvement of 16.3 million or 3.7% above budget. This outperformance is attributed to better than expected total net revenue as well as the indirect revenue sources. And as always, a comprehensive variance analysis is provided in the commission packets and public meeting materials. Please see these for additional detailed explanations of the year-to-date performance. Also included, you'll find the balance sheet and other quarterly reports for your consideration. And at this time, I'd be happy to take any questions or comments.
If there are no questions or comments, then I would ask if there's a motion to approve the financial statements.
I move that the Oregon State Lottery financial statements for the months ended October 31, November 30, and December 31, 2025 be approved for the record as presented today.
Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Conrad,
Aye.
Commissioner Dodd,
Aye.
Commissioner Geller,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Chair Ramirez.
Aye. For the record, the motion has passed. Now let's move on to what is always my favorite part, is the staff updates.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Ramirez and Commissioners. I'm Ty Calandrello, Deputy Director and Strategy Officer at Oregon Lottery. And I'm here today to share some highlights of our Q2 Strat Plan Progress Report, which is posted on our website and was included in your meeting materials. In the area of financial sustainability, we have 5 ongoing pilots. Some of those details are outlined in the report under the Lottery Product Profitability Action Plan, including 1 new. We also transitioned from framework alignment to what we refer to internally as validated stakeholder-informed work streams and parameters for go and no-go decisions connected to aligning the business model with industry standards. In the area of security and technology, a few highlights: we completed 2 out of the 11 IT strategy projects and ended Q2 with 88% of all projects on track. And the IT team is updating their strategic plan and the corresponding budget for fiscal year 27. In the area of team goals, leaders completed KPIA, otherwise known as Key Performance Indicator Associate, and internal employee performance workshops. So teams are actively working together and across the organization to refine leadership pipeline skills collectively within Lottery through many continuous improvement efforts. And last but not least, in the area of Lottery community, we received a 4.9 out of 5 satisfaction score in the 2025 Beneficiary Sentiment Survey. And of those surveyed in the 2025 Brand Promise Study, Oregonians and players, 74% and 86% respectively, have a positive opinion of Lottery. Do you have any questions or comments for me on the quarterly report?
Just a comment. I really appreciate the commitment you have to the strategic planning process. A lot of times you do these things and then we look at them at the end of the year, but to see the continual progress and how robust the measurements are is something you should be really proud of.
Thank you. We really appreciate that. Commissioner Conrad.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So just a broad question, and the going back to the narrative that you gave for, the first category, the lottery product profitability action plan, has the lottery considered, and if it's already done on the website, please forgive me, of toning the industry rhetoric down a little bit so that people can understand it? So
Are there
the narrative that you gave when you start talking about pipelines and frameworks and all these other types of things, people don't know what that actually means. I don't. I understand the words, but what does that actually mean? And so I'm just curious if there's something out there. In the legislature, there's the flesh readability score, right? So you tone things down so it's understandable for people. So I'm just curious if the lottery has thought about that, tried that, just where that might be at.
Thank you
And
for
and
that
and it's
example.
nothing against what you said, nothing against what you said at all. I appreciate everything that you're doing. It's just trying to relate it to the public.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And thank you for the example, because that's what I was about to ask you is like, are there specific things that stand out to you? What we do try to do is use general either industry and or business terms that the public, any of our stakeholders should be able to do a little bit of research if needed to look into. But we'll incorporate that into our thinking for the updates in the future. Part of the reason of trying to get really specific to try to describe things accurately is we are also trying to make it easy for the public to consume the information by sticking to one page. So when you do that, right, sometimes you end up selecting terms that pack in potentially some layers of meaning in terms of the context it's in. So thank you for that. And we'll think about that going forward.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I think Commissioner Geller has a question.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. Can you talk just a little bit about there were two things on security and technology, the challenges, potential impacts of budget changes, and then a little bit a different question. I was curious about the information about the satisfaction score and challenges around macroeconomic factors. How macro are we talking?
Yeah. Okay. So the first part in the area of security and technology and the potential impacts of budget changes, I think that specifically that's about extra rigor that we've applied within our organizations for teams to think more and long term into the future when they do their business planning and thinking about prioritization and the tough strategic choices that they have to make. Now, by elongating and improving the level of detail that goes into the planning up front, what teams have started to identify as how integrated some of these ideas and initiatives can be depending on what scenario they choose to select. And that, of course, is a little bit more complicated in terms of how do you build what your resource plan is going to be for that. And they understand that there isn't an endless amount of resources available. So how are they going to make those tough strategic choices? A little bit tied to your question as well, I think, to answer the first part, what about the impact of macroeconomic factors impacting sentiment? So our general lottery performance is very much tied to macroeconomic factors such as share of consumer wallet, consumer confidence, growth of the economy. So when you ask like how big, like what kind of stage, I think is what you're asking, are we talking about? We're thinking about the state of Oregon. We're also thinking about the United States. There is more that I could say, but maybe that's the most interesting bit. Is there anything else I can answer that you're curious about, Commissioner Geller? All right. Well, if there are no other comments or questions, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Ramirez, Commissioners, Director Wells. For the record, my name is Tina Erickson, and I am the manager over the lottery product portfolio. Today, we're going to go over what Q2 was for fiscal year 2026. Thank you, Star. Yeah, if we can go to the next slide. And we're seeing the slide with notes on it. Sorry, I don't know if you can swap the, yeah. Thank you. So just a reminder, net revenue is what we're reporting out on. So net revenue is removing the prizes that were paid over this last quarter. As you can see, we are kind of about average just in the year-over-year comparison. I do want to point out, though, that for this quarter, we did end up paying over $34 million in scratch prizes. So that was a good ability to give back to our players in the form of all those great prizes, some of which you heard about from Director Wells. I always like to kind of highlight the top 5 sellers. And again, as you've heard me say in previous commission meetings, we are seeing that trend to higher price points. So of course, our holiday games are making up the biggest mix in here because we launched those in October. We had a fairly solid holiday season, not just solely holiday games, but all games in the scratch portfolio rose to the top. Any questions on this slide? All right, next one, please. All right, so again, similar to what Carl was sharing, we are definitely, these jackpot games are driven by those large jackpots that come up. So that's why you're seeing such a large percentage for the Powerball game. Mega Millions is down again year over year when we're comparing those jackpot amounts. And just something that we notice as the multi-state games have large jackpots, it kind of brings megabucks along as well. So you're going to see some increased play there. In this particular space, they all 4 of these games contributed to just about almost $49 million in prizes paid. So another, great opportunity for our players to get some good prizes from these games. And that's pretty much what I have here. Any questions? All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Chair Ramirez, Commissioners, Director Wells, good morning. For the record, my name is Saul Richards, and I am the manager of video gaming products here at the lottery and present this quarter's updates. Top line, and I'm very happy to share with you guys, almost giddy, that for the first time in a calendar year, video was up 0.1% or 0.01% last year. And in real dollars, that's roughly $3 million. So that's, I know 0.01% doesn't seem like a lot, but when it comes to video, it really is. And it really was a group effort. The Beaver State game, which we talked about a lot in the past, is still performing really well. Players are really enjoying it. It's keeping its place as a top 5 game, even after it's 30-day and 90-day introductory period, which is wonderful to hear. But it's also part of a whole team effort. Just to let you guys know, all the iLinks out in the field, when iLinks are basically the little box that all the terminals talk to that then allows to talk to the host system, those are all replaced with a new version called an iLink Ultra, which really helps keep those retailers up and running. And if retailers are up and running, those terminals are available. So that really also helps that revenue stream. Also, the 600 Sierras, over 600 Sierras have been deployed out in the field. And the Sierra is a wonderful terminal that's really producing some great revenue, replacing an aging terminal, the Oxygen. So it really has been a group effort with tech services, IT, and video product to really get that number back up. Now, look, moving forward, to keep that momentum going, we're launching 3 games this quarter. One's already out, Crazy Chickens. Huff and Puff is getting deployed next Tuesday into field trial. And then the Golden Ram will come out in March. And really the purpose behind that back-to-back-to-back launches is there is a lot of news about tax refunds and tax kickers. We want to make sure there's fresh content so people, if they choose to spend their entertainment dollars at a video lottery retailer, they'll have some new, fun, fresh content. I know I zipped through that really fast. Anything, because I am really very happy about the performance, and trying not to overreact too much. But yeah, it's been a great quarter, and I think this quarter is gonna be even better. But again, any questions for video?
Just one question. So I know over the last couple of years, there's been a focus on replacing aging machines out there,
Yep.
terminals. Can you give a real quick update on the status of that, the replacement?
Yeah, well, the truly, as we look to different what we can do moving forward with different technological changes, the terminals that would have held us back and made a hard line, no, they won't work with it, are gone. Which is really, those are the E20s.
Okay.
Those are out. I think middle of last year, calendar year. Now we're working on the Oxygen, which is also an older terminal, but still performs really well. And so that's still coming out. But the level of urgency to get terminals out right away, like with the E20, isn't as high with the Oxygen. So really, we're in a great place moving forward, and we're a great place right now. But we're in an even better place moving forward. We're continuing to do that replacement. And I don't know if I answered your question or not.
No, you did. Thank you.
Cool.
Mhm.
Cool. Anyone else? Sweet. Well, I'm going to hand it over to Carrie.
Moving right along today. Chair, Commissioners, Director Wells, for the record, my name is Carrie Hemphill. I am the Sports Betting Product Manager here at the Oregon Lottery and here to give you the sports product update for the last quarter. Still in here. So the sports product for Q2 continued to see good growth with over 109,000 customers placing wagers in the quarter. Focus, as expected, was primarily on our two major sports, which were football and basketball. Overall results were very strong, led by a big bounce back in the NFL after last year's poor Q2 performance. Overall, year-over-year comps are shown in the green box on your screen. Number of bets were up 12.4%. I do want to highlight our unique active players, which is up 2.1%. So new users for the quarter came in at just under 20,000 customers. This is a significant drop off of last year, but it was skewed by the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, which drove approximately 7,000 new registrations on the day of the match. We were hoping the Jake Paul Anthony Joshua fight, which that took place in December, would have the same draw, but unfortunately not quite the same as Mike Tyson on the cards. So that said, we still clocked positive growth for the quarter, but noting an abnormal comparison, which resulted in a skewed outcome. As mentioned, basketball and football were the top betting sports of the quarter, accounting for 62% of total turnover and 72% of revenue. Football was our revenue star, with gross gaming revenue increasing approximately 276% over last year, when weak NFL results in October and December hurt football numbers. But no such problem this year. Margins held strong throughout the quarter, and we saw good success in most of our marquee primetime games. Turnover was slightly down with football as we saw a decline in our per bet average, which is primarily the result of recreational bettors interacting with the product and gravitating towards higher margin parlay business, where smaller bets can win big, kind of like lottery followers. This push towards parlay business has been a promotional focus of DraftKings, and as a result, lower per bet averages have been consistent across all primarily US sports. As we have now moved into the next quarter, NFL playoffs have concluded, giving us a Super Bowl matchup that should get great betting interest. The Seahawks making it to the big game is fantastic. Unfortunately, we do have some liability to them winning the Super Bowl, but nothing less. It should be a big draw for Oregonians and hopefully equates to added interest and turnover in the big game. Basketball business continues to see good growth led by the NBA. Results were solid, but not quite as good as last year, leading to a drop in gross gaming revenue. But that's not a concern. Overall numbers were very good. We did see one large wager in the NBA that hit on the very last day of December that skewed the numbers for our results. The wager was placed by a customer visiting Portland from Massachusetts, and that customer who placed a parlay wager returned over $1.4 million on that bet, negatively influencing our hold percentages and GGR for the quarter, but certainly an exciting win for our customer. Remaining sports, so it is a very busy sports season. We've got those two main ones, but we also still have table tennis, soccer, baseball, a bunch of other ones, all contributing to very good numbers and excellent showings in growth for the quarter. Finally, I just want to touch on product integrity for a second. Over the last few months, there have been some high-profile match fixing allegations in the news. And I just want to assure the commission that our product team monitors and reviews betting activity daily and for any any suspicious activity would be escalated to DraftKings for a full report. We are also monitoring industry alerts regarding suspicious betting activity in other jurisdictions, and these alerts are reviewed and Oregon-specific bet history is investigated for any suspicious work. I am happy to report that there have been no concerning or irregular betting patterns identified in Oregon over the last quarter. And that is my presentation for the quarter. Are there any questions? Great, thank you.
No, sorry, Carrie, I've got one. Sometimes my space bar works, sometimes it doesn't. One of the things that you mentioned just almost in passing was a liability if the Seahawks win. Can you expand on that a little bit? Not sure I fully understand that.
So with us being over here in the Northwest, Seahawks are a favorite of betting interest. So just having the favorite win, if it is a high-scoring, super fun shootout game, a lot of the parlays will win. A lot of the player props will win. A lot of the customers will win. So it's a flip of a coin. That would be a really good thing for customers. If it is a lower scoring, pretty boring game where not much of the player props win, lottery will take the green on that one, and the customers their bets will probably not win. So just it being Seahawks, there's a lot of popularity around that team. They are the favorite, and if they do good in a complete great shootout game, then the liability there is that a lot of customers will probably win their bets.
Great, thank you for that.
All right, thank you. So Commissioner Weller and I had the opportunity this morning to attend the audit committee meeting. And so I would ask Commissioner Weller to give an update on that meeting.
Thank you, Chair Ramirez. The Lottery Audit Committee meeting was held this morning prior to the commission meeting. The audit committee was briefed on the lottery's enterprise risk management program and risk register. The lottery continues to monitor enterprise risk around 5 categories: strategic, financial, operational, compliance, and cybersecurity. Total of 12 risks that align with the lottery's enterprise strategy and portfolio were identified last quarter, and most of the risks remain unchanged with a few minor updates. Overall, lottery management will continue to monitor and mitigate these risks on an ongoing basis. The audit committee was also briefed on the results of 2 recently completed audit engagements. The first engagement that the audit team presented was the annual follow-up review of open audit recommendations. This annual follow-up report summarized the status of lottery management's corrective actions for open audit recommendations issued by the Internal Audit Department, a review of the lottery's Finance and Accounting Department conducted by Deloitte, and from the biennial security review completed in 2024. Specifically, the audit team assessed lottery management's corrective actions related to 134 open audit recommendations between November 1, 2024 and October 31, 2025. Based on internal audits review, the lottery management took corrective actions to fully address and close 50 recommendations, 30% of the total received, and provided progress updates for the remaining 84 open recommendations. The second engagement that the audit team presented was the Lottery Ethics Training and Guidance Review. The objective of this engagement was to determine whether the lottery's ethics training and guidance practices ensure that an ethical culture is being prioritized and promoted. This review also assessed whether existing ethics training and guidance provide adequate direction to enable employees to successfully navigate ethical situations. Overall, the audit team concluded that the lottery's ethics training and guidance practices could be improved through more frequent employee engagement and education of the lottery's ethical culture. I'm saying that 4 times fast. Values and expectations. For example, the audit team noted that both new and tenured lottery employees lacked a general understanding and awareness of several key concepts and definitions contained in the lottery's ethics policy. This lack of understanding and awareness may be a contributing factor to the recent increase in ethics policy violations over the past 2 years. A total of 3 audit recommendations were made, and management has developed the necessary actions to appropriately address each recommendation. Lastly, the audit team presented its calendar year 2026 audit plan. The annual audit plan provides the schedule and brief description of internal audits, planned audit and consulting engagements for the upcoming year. Based on the committee's review, the calendar year 2026 audit plan was approved as presented. This concludes my audit committee update. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Weller. Now I would like to open it up to all the commissioners for any communications or other business they would like to bring forward.
I'd just like to add my welcome to Commissioner Dodd. Look forward to having you join us and having some fun here.
Thank you, Commissioner Weller and Chair and everyone who's been already, holding the reins, and it's just great to be able to work with you guys and looking forward to it.
Right. So with that, this concludes today's meeting of the Oregon State Lottery Commission. The next meeting is scheduled on Friday, February 27th. Thank you all for attending today's meeting. The meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you, one and all.
Mhm.